Then the experience of the first lazy fractal, who didn't like challenges, went to the soul's mind. And that second fractal, which was more evolved, received this. Maybe he didn't like being a little lazy too, and it changed his trajectory. So you realize with this, that nothing is definitive. The fractal was created more evolved, but it can regress too. And the one who was laziest can make a huge leap. It depends a lot on the walk, it depends a lot on the choices, it depends a lot on the shortcuts. It all depends. Because that's where human consciousness comes in, and human consciousness is what will define whether that fractal will move forward, stay still, or regress. So here comes a very important factor, which is the awareness of clothing itself, in this case, human. Very good. So you already understand that fractals are created as needed. As I told you here yesterday, each dimension has levels. So, if with each incarnation you go up a level, there will come a point where that fractal will be at the last level of that dimension, due to its own path of evolution, and will be ready to ascend. Very good. And then he ascends, goes to a higher dimension. The soul continues to have a fractal in Tercera. But that other, more evolved one, is in Wednesday. Forget the fourth dimension from here on you. I'm speaking generally. So one dimension has already gone up and the other continues there in Tercera. And then the higher self may find it interesting to create more fractals in Wednesday, to carry out new evolution tests. It is rarely left with just one fractal, because otherwise the soul does not evolve in the same dimension. Then the higher self creates another fourth-dimensional fractal, two fractals following different paths. It's important to say, depending, the higher self places these fractals in different orbs, in different locations in the universe. Let's put it this way, this is a planet of atonement, of suffering. There are other planets in Tercera, which have this duality, but they are not as negative in frequency as here. So that fractal has a better chance of evolving. Then the orbs are prepared to receive these souls. But I said something very important yesterday, in which the soul is prepared for the world in which it was created, where you can conclude that there are similar orbs. Then that fractal of that soul, which was created here on Earth, will go to another planet, another orb, very similar to this planet here, in terms of environment, and that fractal will adapt there easily. Let's say the frequency is the same, the medium may be a little different. But it will contain all the ingredients, molecules, chemical elements necessary for that fractal. It might even have another look, why not? Because the fractal will take on the appearance of that orb, but it will be able to stay there, because it is very similar. Very good. So, in this way fractals are created. And of those two fourth fractals, if one evolves further, it goes to fifth, the other continues in Wednesday, and so is the journey of the soul. It explodes superior fractals, so that the soul evolves, ascends. I hope you understood this part about fractals. So now I will return to the souls that are here on the planet, now in Tercera. And we are tired of saying that they are evolved souls. What do I mean by evolved souls? Souls that have fractals in higher dimensions, in 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and so on. Very good. As I said, I already said before that many of these souls were already here on the planet in the 5th dimension. So when everything happened, these souls were simply forced to create a fractal in the 3rd dimension, so that they could continue living here. So that 5th fractal is still there, it hasn't died. And as time passes, we will understand that the vast majority have evolved. It's as if there was a hole today, in that place, where the 5th dimension fractal was. Because your higher self always knew that that soul would evolve from 3rd to 5th. I have also said here that it may happen that you evolve, find someone sitting there in the 5th dimension, have another fractal of your soul in Quinta. Very rare, but it can happen. What does this mean? That when arriving on Thursday, these two fractals will be condensed into one. I also explained this here. So to finish today's topic, I would say that these fractals, which are here today, and which are part of souls that contain fractals in higher dimensions, that fractal that came here, that was created for Tercera, contains a lot of information. Remember, the soul was already in fifth, so knowledge of fifth already existed in that soul. And when this Tercera fractal was created, it absorbed all this knowledge. So when I tell you that you will remember a lot, I explain why. Because this fractal brought back memories from a higher level. And as there are souls here that come from levels much higher than the fifth, you will remember a lot of things that your own soul is already capable of. Therefore, do not be scared by gifts and powers that you come to recognize. Because you are bringing this from your souls that are not frozen in time, they have evolved over time. Only this fractal that is here has been trapped in Tercera for all this time. But now, everything is being prepared for him to return to the fifth dimension, so that the soul evolves again, so that the soul becomes a fifth soul again. I already told you, the soul is the smallest fractal it has. As much as it has fractals in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, the soul here today is from 3rd, because it is the smallest fractal it has. Is it an evolved soul? Yes, because it has fractals in higher dimensions. But she is a Tercera soul. So that's why you have access to so much information. That's why when we say things here, they resonate with you, because your soul already knows all this. This is nothing new to you. Which no longer happens, with the souls that are only with the fractal in Tercera. Because they don't know anything above. They only know what they have already experienced, first, second and third, nothing more. So it becomes very difficult to resonate with what we say. And I can guarantee you that many evolved souls are with these Tercera souls, to try to make them evolve too. Which are the people who surround evolved souls? It's family members, friends, who today don't understand anything about what's happening. But you are there, close to them, to help them on this journey, to help them understand and evolve. This is your role, as you are an evolved soul. Think about everything I said here today. Tomorrow we will continue. I am Archangel Michael. And here, I will continue to be Archangel Michael.